Welcome to the Social Changemakers Podcast. I am your host, Khalilah Denney. I am here with a phenomenal young man who I serve with, who I do life with, Mr. Eric Woods.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you, Khalilah. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah. Well, I'm
never
glad.
got phenomenal before. That's good.
Phenomenal. Okay. What word should I use?
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Well, Eric, we see each other almost every Sunday.
Right.
Serving at Zion Church. Doing the Lord's work, as they say.
Right.
And we've always talked about all the different work that you do, and the different businesses that you've you started up, and you find a way to make money any way you can, right?
Absolutely.
And it's always up above board, and So I want to highlight the fact that entrepreneurship is live and real, and that if you are willing to get up in the morning and go to work, hit the pavement, be creative, come up with some ways where you can earn a living or make money and do it. There's so many ways you can do it and do it in a way where it's legal and it's right and it's pure, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about businesses, starting your own businesses,
ups and
downs of it. But we're gonna get into your story a little bit as well, and that's where we're gonna start, right?
Okay.
So, if you had to share with us who you are as a person today, your success story, I believe that just give people some insight into who you are, and then we'll take them back in history and take them back in the day, and talk about your upbringing and all of that good stuff.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So let's start off with who are you as an individual, as a man today?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm as Khalilah said, I'm Eric Wood Sr., Eric E. Wood Sr. And I'm a father of I have 5 children, but they're all grown, and 7 grandbabies now.
Okay.
And of course, in ministry at Zion Church, and I just love entrepreneurship.
Hold on.
Okay.
Cause you're a father.
Okay, father, grandfather.
You're minister.
Minister, minister.
You also lead a special young lady that
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, husband.
I'm not gonna let him lead you out.
Right.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let him do it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just got married recently. I guess a couple of years now. We just celebrated our anniversary. My wife, my lovely, darling, blessing from the Lord.
That's right.
Wife, Devon Wood, which I call Paris. I never call her Devon. Y'all call her Devon. I call her Paris.
Yeah, you got me calling her Paris.
That's
the only name I call her by. Right. When I try to say her first name, I get stuck. I'm like,
Paris. Right.
Yeah.
I've never called my wife. I mean, since I first met her, I've never called her Devon.
Yeah.
That was the name that was on her sweater when I met her. I had to say something, and I was like, "Oh, your name is Paris?" Yeah. No, and she said no. Her family went to Europe and they brought her back that souvenir. Yeah. And I said, I had to think of something. It was like last minute when I saw my wife. It was just.
I love y'all love story. I really do. Yeah. Meeting in the church, going to an event, and
New Year's celebration.
You shoot your shot.
Oh, absolutely. We have to shoot our shot.
That's right. You love the First Baptist Church Glen and shoot your shot, huh?
Right. And I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting. I was went to the New Year's revival that they have every year with T.D. Jakes and some of the other speakers. Yeah. And I was actually waiting. It was before I get there so that I can get a really good seat in a certain area that I sit in. And I got there like 45 minutes early, to an hour early. And I was just sitting there on my iPad, and then she got up. She was on the other end. The rows are really long. Yeah. And she walked past, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, who is that?" And so she was going to the bathroom. So the whole time she was at the bathroom, and before she came back, I was trying to think, what can I say? I had nothing.
That's when you came up with the t-shirt.
And when I saw her, on her sweater, and it said Paris, and that's how. That was the first night. And then she was like, oh, she kind of choked. She was like, oh, no, my family brought it for me. I said, oh, okay. Oh, I thought your name was Paris. She was like, and then went on back to her seat at the other end of the row. And from time to time, I would kind of, during the service, I would peek to see if she was down there. And then the next day, I went and where I normally sit, was all the seats were taken, and the row behind where I normally sit was open. As a matter of fact, she was on that row. I didn't even know. I was just a little disappointed because where I normally sit was all taken, and it was 4 seats that I saw on the next row behind it, and she just happened to be the one sitting next to those 4 empty seats. And I said, Paris? And she was like, huh? I said, from yesterday? She was like, yeah. And I said, those seats available? She said, yeah. And she had her coat and purse and everything in the seat. And it was 4 seats available. And she took her purse and coat out. And I was saying, did she want me to sit next to her? Because there are 3 other seats that's available. And I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I don't want to be creepy and sit right next to the 3 other seats. But the Holy Spirit said, if you put a space, you put a space in between you two, somebody's going to sit there and you'll never get a chance to speak to her again. So I said, is it okay if I sit right here? She said, yes, absolutely. And I then knew that her whole spirit, she's just so considerate of people. Yeah. Just a blessing. That's a whole story. I want to come back and talk about faith and relationships too, if I can. Okay, for sure. Yeah, but that's a whole thing about. Well,
thank you for sharing your love story with us. A quick snippet of it. Yeah. But yeah, so you're a father, you're a husband, you're a minister, you're a servant. You know?
Absolutely.
But you're also, an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
You know, I think you're an entrepreneur, true and true.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Like, where are you from?
I'm from DC, born and raised, Northeast DC, on the Maryland, close to the Maryland side, Capitol Heights, Northeast, by HD Woodson Senior High School. Yeah. If you're familiar with HD.
Yeah, you might. I'm not at all.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on that.
When it comes to the DC stuff, as much as I was born there, but I was raised here in Prince George's County all of my life. So
okay.
I kind of, I'm not good with all that, understanding landmarks and stuff like that down there.
Yeah, my parents, I was born in George Washington Hospital. But, GW.
I was born at Columbia Hospital for Women.
Oh, okay, yeah. And but my parents, they lived in Maryland, in what is known as Kentland. Now, Kentland is predominantly black now, but back in the 70s, it was not. Man? No, ma'am. It was 50-50. Okay. And we were around a lot of white people, like white kids. We went to Kentland Elementary when it was like, it probably was
kind of diverse when you
40% black, maybe 60% black, 40% white. Okay. So and we stayed. My parents lived there until I was 7, and we moved to DC. Oh, okay. And that's when we moved over Northeast. My dad actually, my aunt actually sold her house. It was a newly built house. The house was only 3 years old.
I don't know why I always thought she was from New Orleans.
No, we lived in New Orleans when I was in the military for 12 and a half years.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, that's why people, I always tell them I'm from DC, but New Orleans sticks in their head.
That's the only thing I remember.
Right, because we escaped Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I went to HD, grew up in Northeast, and went to HD Woodson Senior High School, graduated, and I was in ROTC. I was ROTC geek. You'd be a band geek, cheerleader, football geek.
Right.
I was in ROTC for 3.5 years. Well, 3 years in high school, and then I did 1 semester at George Washington University, and then I went into the Marine Corps. Okay. And so military was my destiny. I wanted to retire, and I was gung ho. Like I love boot camp. As a matter of fact, I signed a contract as a reservist. Okay. And did 1 drill as a reserve, and I was like, I ain't do boot camp. I ain't go to roughest boot camp as out there in MOS school to be a reservist. So I can't. I went to my reserve station, and I said I want to switch over to active duty, so I switched over to active duty. So I did 10 years in, and got out, and then but before I got out was really when I had my first taste of entrepreneurship. Okay. I didn't know what to make of it because I was gung ho military. I wanted to do my 20 or more, and then retire and then still be young and do some other endeavors. But my goal as when I was young was always, I would never be an entrepreneur. That wasn't attractive to me.
That wasn't a thought that you had.
No, I was going to do military and then come out of the military, then have a corporate job. And I'm a hard worker, right? Yeah. I have a strong work ethic, and I was going to make my money that way.
How did the military turn you into an entrepreneur?
I know.
Like that's one of the main things that teach you how to work for somebody else.
Right.
How did that
It
come
wasn't
about?
the military.
I thought you just said that. Maybe
No,
when
I was in the military. No, I was in the military, and it was while I was in the Marine Corps that the desire to be an entrepreneur came.
Okay.
And it wasn't the military.
It wasn't the military. So
it was God.
It was God. Okay.
And that's why I say it was strange, because it was weird, because I wanted to do my time in the military. I just like being in the military.
Sound like you was in jail.
Right. Well, you know, and so I loved that structure. I was a safety patrol when I was in elementary school.
Okay.
I just loved that structure. I didn't want to be a police officer.
Okay.
But the whole idea of defending my country and wearing a uniform as a young guy, and I was always a first class PFTer. I was first class rifleman. I was, always and then I was always in leadership. Even in boot camp, I was like one of the shortest, but I was in leadership because I loved the Marine Corps. I went there, I'm not, I'd say a thug or whatever, but when I went there, I meant business when I went there. I was in the military. I was
what
in the
made you
finest fight
choose the Marines, though?
I was in Navy ROTC in high school. Okay. And we kind of patterned ourselves after the Marines, the 8th and I. We would look at their videos, the silent drill team. I don't know if you ever got an opportunity. If you do get an opportunity to go to schedule during the spring and summer, they have the 8th and I Marine drill team little performance.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're free tickets, and you can go. A lot of people don't know, but you can.
So watching that kind of sparks you saying, "Oh, you know what? I want to go into the Marine Corps."
We want that uniform when we're young. That uniform, and then it was rough. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see myself when I was younger in the Air Force or Army. No, I'm sorry. And then the Navy, I was like, can't do the bell bottom.
Well, it's a special kind of person to go into the Marines.
Yeah, it's the longest and toughest. Actually, my dad, because Marine Corps boot camp was nothing. It was a breeze for me because of the way I was raised. My dad was real strict and he was hard. Yeah. My dad was low key abusive. Okay, let's be honest. Let's just keep it real. Okay. But so when I went to boot camp, I graduated, and I asked the drill instructors, did they have any volunteer opportunities? I want to stay in Paris Island. I got to go back home.
Wow.
I loved it. I loved the physical fitness. I loved it. I loved everything. I loved the structure that it had. It was no problem with me. Guys was crying, committing suicide. I turned 18 in December. And I went to boot camp 3 months later in March. So I just turned 18. I was in leadership. I was the guy when we got there. I had to talk several guys out of committing suicide.
I'm going to say, you said people committing suicide because of
the boot camp, a temporary situation, they can make a permanent decision. Absolutely. Okay. And so I was able to talk them out at that time. But I think one actually did. He didn't actually die, but he still went on to do it. And do something to his wrist. I think he slid his wrist or something like that. And the other ones, but that was an experience. But so fast forward, I'm in, I'm loving Marine Corps, and then Desert Shield, Desert Storm hit in 91. I went in 88. Desert Shield, Desert Storm went in, and I wanted to go. Like I asked my gunny, could I go? Because my brother went over. He was a reservist. My dad forced him to go in the Marine Corps. Okay. And believe it or not, I was active duty. They sent the reserves over
first. Yeah.
And with the other active duty, components, and I went to my gun and said, I got to go with my brother. I got to go with him. And Gunny was like, that's honorable, Corporal Wood. That's honorable that you want to do it. He's a man now. We got him. We going to take care of him. And I wanted to go because I wanted to really protect my brother. And then after coming out and then having children, and
did you have kids while you were in the military? Or?
Yeah. Okay. I had at the time I had 4 kids. Oh wow. But in 91, I had 2, and then after that, as I got older, I started looking at when I got around 25, 26, my mindset started changing. And I realized that we were going to war. We can say we go to war to protect our country, but we really go to war because two men can't get along, or American interests. And some of our young men and women are actually losing their lives because of American interests, not necessarily because we're protecting America directly. And so I'll never say anything bad. I have two sons in the military. I have one in the Air Force and one in the Navy. And so I love the Marine Corps. You'll never hear me say anything bad about it. Yeah. So I just think you need to have the right mindset and have the right understanding with you going in. And then something happened. We went to, I don't know what began to happen. And then this entrepreneur spirit just started. And I was like, oh, I don't want my own business. I had no desire. And
so how did you decide, like, okay, you're in the military, you're doing your military thing, you're doing your duty, and they prep you for, you get to pick an assignment or the type of job that you want to study for, right, while you're there.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're doing the admin.
Admin, yes, ma'am.
Did something or someone kind of come along and convince you that working for somebody else was just not your gig, or like what was the experience, or what was the spark that said, I think I want to go into business for myself?
And let me add this. Not only was I in leadership, I was meritoriously promoted twice in the Marine Corps, which means accelerated promoted.
Right.
And so I was gung-ho Marine Corps military. But what happened was in 96, the woman I was married to at the time, had a class reunion in California. She went to high school in California, and we drove there from New Orleans and did a road trip to kids that we had, and we went to Venice Beach. And on Venice Beach, they had all of these temporary tattoo booths. I was like, wow, this is weird, temporary tattoo. Nobody, what's up? And we just kept seeing them. And I heard report that New Orleans, where we had lived, was the most toured place in all of the world. I heard on the media, like right before that, something, Khalilah, you just asked a question, something just came over me right then and said, buy temporary tattoos, get temporary tattoos. I decided to go over one of the temporary tattoo booths, not to get a temporary tattoo, but to buy them. And I told the young lady, no, I don't want it. I want the car, I want the tattoo. I want several, give me a couple. Because I wanted to look on the back of it to see the name of the company, to see if it had the name of a company and address.
Okay.
That was
who made it. Right.
But I wasn't reading any entrepreneur books. I didn't know. But I think what was happening, my mindset, because I was looking at war and our young people who were, in the military, and some were dying and different things. And I was looking at it from a different perspective, from a father. Okay. Being a husband and a father now.
Right. Okay.
Right. And I'm going to lose my life. Right, about to lose my life. I actually go to war, like literally. Like I can shoot you from 300 to 500 yards away in the head. Yeah. I was a first class marksman. Okay. But I don't know.
Not to, get on your bad side.
That was back then. With a rifle. But
I feel like it's riding a bike though. It's like riding a bike.
Right. Yeah.
You probably get shot real quick.
Right. And so that's crazy because I play video games always about shooting. But anyway, so
keeping them skills sharp. Skills sharp.
Right. So I play a tank game. That's what I love. But anyway, so I said, yeah, I just want the cards. She said, huh? I said, just want the cards. Don't put the temporary tattoo on me. And I bought the cards, bought the tattoos, paid the money, and we looked on the back and saw the name. It was short enough. We saw the manufacturer, name of the company, and the address. And I couldn't wait to get back to New Orleans. I don't know what came over me. And we contacted them. Okay. And this is before internet. This is 96. Okay. And
so you had to do the research
I got the hard way. I had to do the research the hard way. I had to call 1-800 411. You remember 411?
Right.
Yeah, I called 411, say Highgate. I remember the name.
Highgate.
That was the name of the temper. I still remember to this day, since 90s.
I wonder if they're still around.
They probably are. They ones who actually did most of NFL and NFL football team temporary tattoos.
Oh, okay.
And there's something about that too. And so that was how I try and think my mindset was switching, not necessarily to get out of the military, but I better look at some other options here. And I think entrepreneurship, but I don't know why it wasn't get out and then work for somebody.
Yeah.
It was, which I ended up doing, working for somebody, but it still was entrepreneurship. But so what we did, we ended up ordering some temporary tattoos and sold them in the French market.
Okay.
And I didn't know if anybody was going to buy any.
Yeah.
And then the first day that we opened in the French market,
we
had all these different, we didn't sell out, but we had all of these people around our table that even the Asians that sold stuff in the French market, they came, when Asians come around your booth,
that's a good thing.
Right. Because, right. And so they came around, they was just, with their hands behind them, just walking. It was a lot of people, and it was grown-ups that was buying the temporary tattoos. And then what happened was that particular year was the Super Bowl was in New Orleans that year. Okay. Mardi Gras.
So you had a lot of special events that you could just really run that bag up with.
Right. And so with Mardi Gras coming, I did. I don't know. A lot of your viewers may be familiar with Bayou Classic. It's like the Rose Bowl. It's like the College Bowl, except it's to Grambling and Southern University, Grambling State and Southern University, and they had Bayou Classic in New Orleans. But we didn't sell any. The black students, college students, they didn't buy A1. I think maybe one, maybe. Okay. We had the Jaguars. We had the Southern. We had the different logos. But then I think it was the what bowl? Is the Rose Bowl? I think it was another bowl. It was predominantly white schools, two white schools. Now they bought. It was the Seminoles and the Gators.
So you were able to get the tattoos that represented the different schools and the colleges or the events and whoever was there.
Highgate actually had, believe it or not, it was just the luck of the draw that they had those ones. And then the Super Bowl. So Florida and the Florida State and the Gators, they were familiar. The white students, they were familiar with putting temporary tattoos. So we had them. They called their buddies and friends and said they got our Gator and Seminole temporary tattoos, and so they just bought them up.
Well, I don't want to glaze over the fact that you even had the foresight or the thought to say, okay, well we've got all these major events happening. Sure. This is where we live. We're gonna be here. They're coming to us. We know we got all these tourists coming, all these different people from around the world coming to see this place or this game or whatever. Yes. And the tattoos was a way for you to enter at any event to make money. So I'm like that. A lot of people don't think about that. It's that's one of the things. There's an accountant that I follow. I can't remember his name right now, but he says you need to be thinking about the special events that's happening in your area. A lot of times we miss opportunities. If you've got a Super Bowl, if you've got a major artist coming, if there's something happening where a lot of people are engaged and having conversations about it, that could be an opportunity for an entrepreneur to come up with a product or service, and capitalize on it. So
and to add to that, I actually made history. Because watch this. So Bayou Classic didn't sell any. Rose Bowl with the Florida Gators and Seminoles, we sold a lot. And then the Super Bowl, and then Mardi Gras. Did research, went online, asked Highgate, found some other temporary tattoo manufacturers, and not one of them had a Mardi Gras temporary tattoo. Oh wow. And that's like simple math to me, because I'm like, we do face painting, do a Mardi Gras. You face painting, right? And temporary tattoos transfer in a matter of seconds. Yeah. So I created the first ever temporary tattoo. I made history. I was on the news and everything. Oh, wow. And so the temporary tattoos that you see down there now, I was the father of that. I made that. I'm the first one to ever create a Mardi Gras temporary tattoo. Wow. And I had many designs. I had artists draw them up. I actually went to souvenir shops and actually took a camera and took pictures and shrink them down and did the 4x4 cards, sent them off to a manufacturer and produced them. And we ended up selling them inside of the souvenir shops all in New Orleans. I don't know if you've ever been down to the French Quarter. Yeah, we sold them all in. We sold a few, and so we made history. We were first ever to create. As a matter of fact, we were first not just in New Orleans. Our manufacturer that we wanted to, that we actually made our Mardi Gras temporary tattoos, asked if we could, if I could send them down to Brazil. And I said, they don't have them in Brazil? He said, no. Wow. And I said, no, because I haven't patented them. I haven't patented them. I wouldn't have known if he did or not. So I could actually, if they have them in Brazil, I was that guy. They created the first one in 1996. There was no Mardi Gras temporary tattoo.
Wow. So the temporary tattoos launched your entrepreneurial career. Right.
Now, let me take 2 seconds. And that is, so now the Super Bowl is here. And it was the New England Patriots and Green Bay Packers. Right. And now this is where the true entrepreneur spirit came in, because I purchased those temporary tattoos without knowing that I was going to get in the Super Bowl. Okay. Because the Super Bowl is a real deal. You can't sell those out.
A certain kind of faith. Right?
Yeah, and I sold them inside, but because you had to get a hold of there was a company that's in charge of the concessions inside of the New Orleans Superdome. Right. And I had reached out to them and never heard anything. Okay. For a couple of months, and never responded. So I started calling down to the Superdome before the Super Bowl, and the gentleman who was in charge of it, he never responded. So for a week before the Super Bowl, I would constantly go down to the Superdome, and they would stop me at the counter. The security would say, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "No." And then that Friday before the Super Bowl, this last time I went, and I told my Gunny, I said, "Gunny, I'm gonna be late for lunch." Just to be honest with you, because I'm not taking no. I'm getting inside of the Superdome. So when they asked me, I had already bought the temporary tattoos. I stepped out on faith. Right. And I had already bought the temporary tattoos, and when I went there this time, the security said, "Do you have an appointment?" I said to myself, "You better not say no. You better say, yeah, you do have an appointment with destiny." Yes, I do have an appointment. She said, "You know where to go?" I said, "Absolutely." I didn't know where I was going. We walked inside the Superdome, and I didn't know go left or right. And I just said, "God, just guide me." And I think I went to the right, and I'm walking inside of this big Superdome to head to the office, but I didn't know what office was. And then this guy, I finally see somebody, and this guy's walking to me, white guy. I said, "Do you know where the office is?" And he said, "Yeah, the office is." When I said, "I'm trying to go there. I'm trying to get a hold of. Is that where they manage the concessions that we're?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well," I said, "I'm trying to become a vendor." He said, "Oh, you are? What do you have?" I said, "Well, I have temporary tattoos." And he said, "Oh, you have temporary tattoos?" He said, "Well, you want to sell them at Super?" He said, "You were supposed to do that. You were supposed to get in contact with the concession company months ago." I said, "I know, I've been calling, and I wasn't able." And I said, "I'm looking for Mr. Such and Such." And he said, "I'm that guy." Oh. He said, "I'm that guy." Right. I've been coming down there for a week. And he said, I tell you what. I'm in a dilemma. And maybe you can help me." I said, "What's your dilemma?" He said, "In preparation for the Super Bowl, the Superdome, they built a 7th floor, cost him millions of dollars. And he built a 7th floor, and no one budgeted, no one did the proper logistics to have any vendors up on the 7th floor. Wow. Are you willing to go? Can you go and sit up on the east and west wing at the escalators?" I said, "Absolutely. I got Marine Corps buddies that would love to get inside of the Super Bowl." Right. I said, "You ain't said nothing but a thing." I said, "Look at God."
Yeah, that's right.
I said, "Look at God." I think we made $3,000 in a few hours.
Oh, wow.
Before there was internet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so that's a whole.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. I'm just excited to hear more about your entrepreneurial journey, because I know that you're the kind of person that don't let no kind of adversity stop you. Right. And it's important that people understand that just because you hear no doesn't mean it's never. Right. No, it's just not right now. Right. God has something for you. If you're willing to continue to move towards your goals and move towards that which is, important to you.
Sure.
Nothing can stop you but you.
Mm-hmm.
Having the right mindset is important. So I think you saying, I'm gonna get in today.
Oh, I'm getting in here.
It's gonna happen. I
had no choice.
Back, right?
I had no choice.
Yeah.
I bought the tattoos. I spent $400. We were broke.
Yeah.
It was like Jack and a beanstalk, and he spent the money on some beans or the last that they had.
Yeah.
I said, I have to get in here. There's no option. I have to get in here.
Yeah. So after that, you did that journey, the tattoo journey. How long did your tattoo journey last?
It really, to be honest with you, it only really lasted that year.
Okay.
It was God just allowing me to see what I could do as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And
you're still in the military doing all this?
Yeah, I was in the military. And then I had ACL reconstructive surgery. And the doctor said, well, Eric, after I did some physical therapy, he said, you can stay in or you can get out. And I'm going to be honest with you, at this time, it was a whole bunch of transitioning going through. Considering transitioning out of the military that I love, the Marine Corps, my marriage at the time was going through a huge transition.
Yeah.
There was some stuff happening, and I was really, really demotivated. I was going through transition in the spiritually, and I just come out of backslidden state. I was a backslidden state, and so there was a whole lot of things going on, and a whole lot of dynamics here that were in play, and I was kind of demotivated. And I got promoted, and was up for promotion, and for E6, and when the surgeon said you could get in or you could stay in or get out, I decided to get out.
Okay.
And I got a severance, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So what did you do after?
I got a severance, and I ended up. I just didn't have the mental capacity to re-enlist. I mean, I'm a family man. That my family married. It was a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And so when I got out, I ended up working for the largest apartment complex as a maintenance dispatcher in New Orleans. I went to be a leasing agent initially. I had to become a leasing agent because they advertised that in the paper. Right. And when I got there, it wasn't too many black faces, and they were like, "Oh, that position's been filled." No, it wasn't. And they said, "But we have a maintenance dispatcher." I said, "I didn't apply for a maintenance dispatcher." Right. And they said, "That's okay. We're going to increase your pay. You just got out of the military." And so I ended up becoming a maintenance dispatcher. Yeah,
but that didn't last long.
No, less than a year, because I ended up getting hit by a car on the property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so I was on a bike and doing security, and then I got hit by a car, so I was on workman's comp. And that's where the pool cleaning service came.
Oh, okay. All right. So that was the next journey.
Right.
Cleaning pools.
Right. And just to have some money, because one of the things I learned how to do was clean the pools. On the property had 3 big pools. Okay. And I didn't like it, but and so when I was on workman's comp, that was my first time on workman's comp. I was young. I was in my 20s, and I didn't know that they were supposed to be paying me 66% of my salary. Oh wow! And they weren't. Wow. We were just brought. I was on a holding. Until we actually got a hold of an attorney, but that had been months later. And by then we needed groceries and all that, so I had to come up with some stuff. And that's when I came with the pool cleaning service and sold ice cream and ice cream truck. That wasn't a business that I actually worked for somebody. I had to put some food on the table, because you weren't really supposed to get a job, but they were supposed to be paying me as well, and they weren't. So I ended up starting a business, and I was like, well, start a business. You experienced entrepreneurship with temporary tattoos. Right. Why can't you start a business? Yeah. And make some money?
Well, yeah. So you did that. You did the pool cleaning service.
Got hit by a car.
You got hit by a car.
That's why I got 2 tow truck company after that, because I ended up getting paid.
You got the tow truck. See, here we go. We're back on that entrepreneurship journey. Right. Say, okay. Right. So after tow trucks, you did. What else did you do?
I ended up doing the towing that was my real business. I did that for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And made some really good money.
What did you learn from the tow truck?
That was I made some money. I made a lot of money, but that was a school of hard knocks.
Okay.
I had used trucks, and one thing people don't realize is that tow trucks are actually towing vehicles that can weigh just as much as they can,
right.
and is a lot of maintenance, a lot of overhead, insurance. And so even though I made a lot of money and I learned a lot of business, my work ethic was very strong. It was nothing wrong with that. But I had a lot of problems, mechanical problems with my trucks, and ended up buying a second truck. Had some employees work for me. Ended up having 2 trucks and a roadside assistance vehicle.
So let's talk about what the lessons you learned in the business from the business side of things.
Money, learning that money aspect. That's when I really realized knowing what to do with your money matters. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how much can you keep.
That's right.
And so I was just that was hard. That was hard not having the right bank accounts, not having the right business structure, not knowing the taxes, not paying any taxes, not doing any of that. And that's what really doesn't matter how much money. I was walking around sometime with $1,200 in my wallet because I couldn't put it in the bank. You understand what I'm saying? Because the bank was negative.
Right, because
$1,000. And if and so just making sure my insurance was paid, and that was pretty much it. And gas was in the vehicle, and what little maintenance I could.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people think that when they start a business and they're making money, money's coming in. I'm not going to say they're making money.
Right.
Money's coming in. They end up spending the money on things that don't really bring more money in.
Right.
And that's how you find yourself in this negative deficit.
Sure.
Not really understanding the numbers, not understanding that you've got to account for your expenses, and then that profit. That's right. That's right. And that profit that you think you're making shouldn't just be taken out to just go buy groceries. So you got to budget for a salary for yourself, but you also want to make sure that you're reinvesting into your business, right, so it can continue to scale, and spending money on marketing and making sure that your name is out there and that you're able to acquire more clients. That's the real where you need to really spend some time and effort on.
Sure.
And a lot of times we as individuals
we just have the skill, but we don't have the business acumen.
Right. That's right. That's right. So it's important to share that there's ups and downs in it. Some successes and some losses. Right. Yeah. So you started to share just some of the losses, but let's hear some of your successes around.
Well, right before Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005. Some of the things were going on in my marriage. My wife at the time and we ended up separating in New Orleans, and so I got to the point where I could just start a business like that just to occupy time, just to kind of not, either be home or just occupy my time, get my mind off, just start a business. Where it's hard for some people, they don't even know where to go, how to start a business or whatever. I can just start one just like that and make money, not just start and make money. So I started a restaurant delivery service called Heaven Sent.
No.
And
Heaven Sent. I like that.
It was called Heaven Sent, and so this is way before Uber. This is 2004, way before Uber Eats and DoorDash and them. And so I ended up creating getting. There was a lot of restaurants that were popped up in the area, and ended up getting their menus and. Back then, just photocopying and creating this menu book and just the door hangers and putting them on different doors in middle to upper class neighborhoods. Okay. And it took off. I wasn't expecting it to do that. I was just me. I had another young lady, it was just
you solving the problem,
right? It was just, but watch this.
Time management is real,
right? And watch this. So watch this. I ended up just advertising to middle and upper class. Why did people from the project started calling my thing? Because you're providing a service.
That's right.
And so I had a young lady call. She said, "Yeah, I live in the Fisher Projects. Can you deliver here?" And I said, "We haven't expanded to that area yet." And we wasn't. It's like, no. I said, "You mind ask how did you hear about us?" Yeah. And she said, "I was at my cousin's house who had a baby shower, and you all delivered some food for us, and I just wanted to know if you expanded. I was like, no, we haven't expanded. And that sparked something in me, because convenience is across the board, no matter what your economic status is. People want convenience, and you solving a problem. I don't care if you're in the projects or if you live in the White House. It doesn't matter. People want service. They want convenience. People love convenience. That's why these apps are making so app-driven businesses are doing so well, because they're convenient. And something happened, and I did that a while with the towing, and that just took off. And so then Hurricane Katrina hit, and I said, and then my wife at the time, we decided to get back together. While we were in the shelter, we left with the kids a day before the storm, and the second day in the shelter, she said she wanted to reconcile, and against my better judgment, I did. But to keep the family, because I came from a 2-parent family. My parents were married for 57 years, and just that whole family thing. And so so we ended up making it back to DC. And I said I wasn't going to do any business, no entrepreneurship, because I didn't want that to be an excuse for any. I just want to get a regular job. So I ended up 2005 ended up working for the Ritz-Carlton. And then a few months later, the Hurricane Katrina hit, and so I was able to transfer from the Ritz-Carlton in New Orleans and transfer to, because I had kind of let the businesses fall. And ended up transferring to the Ritz-Carlton in Georgetown because of Hurricane Katrina. We ended up getting bonuses and natural disaster pay and all of this. So if I hadn't have moved to the Ritz-Carlton, then and so I had a job from here to there. If I had a business, I would have had to now pick up my business and now remarket it and different. But God knew, and so I said. And then the other thing I said, I didn't want any excuses. I'm not going to. No entrepreneurship. I'm not even going to ministry, because that was a complaint. I ain't going to ministry. I just did all of that. And so, and then it didn't end up working anyway. Those weren't the reasons. Okay. And so I said, I'm going back to entrepreneurship. And then I started my roadside assistance company and ended up leaving the Ritz-Carlton. Well, I take that back. I ended up leaving the Ritz-Carlton to start working in human resources for DC Housing Authority. Worked for them for about 4 years, and that's when I said, I'm going back to, I can't work for somebody. I'm an entrepreneur now. Now I have literally mentally accepted that I'm an entrepreneur. And that doesn't mean that I still have all the equipment that I need, and I'm talking about faculties to have that business acumen, but I was now beginning to accept it, because watch this. What you don't believe is hard for you to physically achieve. If you don't believe in something, it's virtually impossible for you to work for that thing or work into that. So if you don't believe, if you don't believe in that if you don't believe that you should be wealthy, you're not gonna produce wealth. You don't believe in it.
Right.
And so it was at that time when I said, I'm an entrepreneur. And I need to, really start maximizing this thing. But, I stayed in business. It was, making between $4,000 and $6,000 a month. It wasn't bad, but God was really calling me for more. And so ended up leaving that, doing Uber and Lyft, and then I'm thinking of ways, because all I have is all this business experience and different things like that. And now I'm telling other people how to start their business. Right. Who were scared to start their business or how to structure their business. And then I built my first website in 2009.
Okay. What was that?
It was an affiliate marketing website. It was hosting companies, and it was a struggle. This was before the drag and drop. I didn't have any coding, but they had it where you could still do it without coding, but it was a little difficult, but I built it. And 3 months went by, I didn't hear anything. And then after 3 months, somebody finally reached out and bought my service. And then I got upset. I was like, see, I knew this wouldn't work. Because only one person. But no, I should have. And so I just let that fall. But anyway, so now we're at this point where I am
Right. So let's talk about where you are right now. We've been having conversations about this dynamic program that you're putting together.
This
website that you've built to help individuals start businesses from beginning to end, to getting your LLC, getting your phone number, getting your getting your website, getting your email, all of the professionals you need to help you. This coming together in one place, right?
In one place.
And this is the DIYLLC.com or DIYLLCnow.com.
Yep, and there's a reason why we say now.
Yes. So tell us about it. Tell us the.
All right. Okay, good. I've been working on this website for about a year and a half now because of life, and also I'm going to be honest with you. There's some mental challenges that I've had. Entrepreneurship is spiritual, and the reason why I believe it's spiritual is because you face so much adversity. The moment I wanted to be an entrepreneur, is when I started facing a lot of adversity, a lot of criticism, a lot of just challenges, and so that had me to think that being an entrepreneur that's spiritual, because you'll find that any place that we find our greatest adversity is probably our greatest assignment.
That's right.
And so I had people from the church make fun. I had family members talk about, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you just face so much criticism. I don't know if you've experienced that.
Oh, all the time.
Right. And I know,
don't let it stop me.
And the reason why I think it's spiritual is because when it comes to distractions, it's easy. And there's no criticism.
Right.
There's no, these are distractions that don't produce any type of results for anything, but you don't face any criticism. You don't face any challenges, no adversity or any of that. And so I say entrepreneurship is really spiritual. And so all of the experience and different things, but I've struggled with actually, it probably could have launched maybe 6 months ago.
Okay, but here we are now.
And
you're about to launch.
We're about to launch.
Tell us about the
And so it's a website where and the reason why I created this website is because a lot of people they don't even know what an LLC is, or they hear about it on social media, and it's the trending topic. You should get an LLC. You should LLC your name. You should everything is LLC now, but they don't know how to go about it. And so what I did was actually create how to create it properly. And there's a certain way that you need to create your LLC.
How you structure your business.
Because if you do it incorrectly, then you're not maximizing your LLC. A LLC is there to protect your personal assets, you and your personal assets, from your business's liabilities. And if you don't structure it right, just because you have an LLC, if you don't have your EIN, if you don't have your operating agreement, if you don't have different things that establish a corporate veil, then you don't have that protection from an LLC just because you have an LLC. And so I've created this website, which we'll be launching in a few weeks. I've created this website where people can come if they want to do it themselves accurately and in the right order. And that's getting your business telephone number, getting your business address, getting your business professional email address. Your email shouldn't be Hotmail or Gmail, end in Gmail or Yahoo. It should be, and getting your website, we actually partnered with one of the largest registered agent services in the nation. So we'll provide registered agent services, how to create your LLC in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, and not just telling you, I'm just not a content creator, but I'm an expert. And the reason why I say I'm an expert is because I actually did it for all 50 states. I've actually recorded videos on each step by video, and actually getting your LLC step by step. So if you want to have a fail-safe process or system in creating your LLC, you will come and look at the videos, how to create establish your EIN, how to create your operating agreement, how to build your website, and to have everything. And also the reason why it's important to have it structured properly is because at the end of the process, you want to be fundable. You want to be able to establish business credit. You want to be able to get business credit cards. You want to be able to get business funding, or whatever.
Right.
But if your business is not credible, which means established or structured properly, if you have a home address, or if you're using your personal cell as your business phone number,
right.
when you go to the bank to apply for a loan or get apply for business credit cards, they're going to look at all. Do you have a digital footprint? Do you have a website? And you don't have those things, they don't consider you credible. You won't get funding.
Well, I'm thankful that you've come up with this tool, because this is a compliment to the work that I'm doing with the Denney's Consulting,
wow.
right?
Yeah, we talk
about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that there's more resources out here, because it's not a competition. We know that. It's
Absolutely.
enough out here for everybody.
There you go.
Highlighting your business and giving you an
that.
opportunity to share that with my audience is means the world to me, because
it means a lot to me
we serve together, and we can help each other in any way we can, and this is the way we do it, right? So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for saying yes to coming back and talking to us about some other things. You are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to God's word, and the insights that you have. I've always been able to just learn from you.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
And I love your wife.
Me
and her serve together.
Right.
So I would just say, if you had one last thing you wanted to share with the audience as it relates to a tip, or what would you say to them to get them to move to the next level, to take that entrepreneurial jump towards what it is that they want to do?
Sure. I believe that examples are greater than words. In many instances. And if you're a believer, I believe that you really and there's something that's starting to grow in you, and you have a desire that maybe I could start my own business. I want to tell you that it's biblical. And the reason why I say it's biblical is because Jesus was an entrepreneur, and people don't talk about that.
Yes, he was.
Jesus' father Joseph, his earthly father Joseph, was an entrepreneur.
That's right.
And he wasn't just any entrepreneur; he was the carpenter,
right.
And they knew him. And when Jesus came to earth, from what we know, the 12 disciples, most of them were entrepreneurs. And so it is your right. It is your right to actually be an entrepreneur, and God actually loves that, because being an entrepreneur, and when you excel in business, it gives you the opportunity to have more time with your family, to be able to work around a schedule in your life, and not to be able to have a schedule that you can work around your life, and not vice versa, where you have to work your life around a schedule. And when you work for somebody, you actually have to work your life around their schedule, and that's not biblical for a believer. When God says that we are the head and not the tail, and we're the lender and not the borrower, we're blessed coming in and we're blessed going out, he didn't mean that saying that like we're loan officers and that we just give people money. He was saying that we are the ones, if you're a believer, we're the ones that should be in charge of the resources. People who have the character, who represent and reflect God, are supposed to be the ones that are in charge, and being able to, it's through that other people are drawn to Christ. Because now you are a believer, you reflect God's love, his character, and his purpose. And now people are working under you and they see Christ, and now they're drawn into that. And so it is God's design for you to be wealthy. It is God's design for you to be an entrepreneur, to pursue a viable business that provides a service to somebody. And it is your right to be a person who provides prosperity for your family, whether you're male or female.
Thank you. We couldn't end it any better than that.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate being here. This is my first podcast. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll be launching one as well in a few weeks.
Okay, you'll be able to come back on and tell us about it.
If you invite me back, I would definitely. And
sure.
after business launch too, after we launch the LLC, I'm going to come back and tell you.
For sure. So thank you guys so much for sticking around and listening to this conversation with us.
Yes.
If you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe.
Absolutely.
Follow us for more content like this, and share in the comments, anything that you learn, or if you have anything to say about it, please let us know. So for now, this is the Social Changemakers Podcast signing out.